Hey y'all, I'm in Washington, D.C. and in this video I'm going to be visiting Pennsylvania Avenue, Embassy Row. I'm kind of throwing in some things that I didn't think merited their own videos. I have a bunch of different videos on random attractions that I went to, but this will be just some of the other stuff that I visited. Let's go. So right here is the old post office, now the Trump International Hotel, and I have a video where I went up in a tower of that, so go check that out. Here's the Capitol at the end of Pennsylvania Avenue. And that's towards the White House. These are giant federal office buildings, part of the Federal Triangle. Here's everyone's favorite, the IRS. The Ellipse here is a tourist hotspot. All sorts of makeshift stands. This is the Herbert Hoover Department of Commerce building. Yeah, the Department of Commerce building is freaking massive. This is Constitution Avenue. That's the EPA building, while it still exists. That's the Department of Commerce and the Department of Environmental Protection, EPA building, all part of the Federal Triangle here. That building right there is the Robert F. Kennedy Department of Justice building. This is the building where the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution of the United States, the Emancipation Proclamation, and millions of important documents are stored. And they do have a museum where you can see the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. I have been in there. They don't allow photography, and they have probably the longest security line in DC, so I'm going to skip it this trip. This building, along with the National Gallery of Art, was designed by John Russell Pope. He also designed the Lincoln Birthplace Monument that I saw. That's the Federal Trade Commission building. So this is the kind of stuff you see going around DC. Along Pennsylvania Avenue is a little known secret. The original FDR memorial is right here. FDR said if a memorial was ever to be built for him, he wanted the size of his Oval Office desk and no bigger, and that's what he got right here along Pennsylvania Avenue until they built the giant one on the tidal basin. It's very simple. It just says in memory of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. This is the Avenue of Presidents. It's seen a lot of history, and it itself is a national historic site. Seeing all the inauguration parades, countless protests, grand review of the Army after the Civil War, funerals of some of the presidents who died. And it was designed so that Congress could always be watching the White House and vice versa. That is the J. Edgar Hoover FBI building. I was there a few days ago in the FBI experience. That is where the Federal Bureau of Investigation is based out of. This is the United States Navy Memorial. We have a bunch of plaques along here depicting naval history. This is the statue of a lone sailor. It's the only statue that's here. A lot of life pictures have eagles on them. It's a statue of General Winfield Scott Hancock. This is Indiana Plaza. cruisers representing here. At Indiana Plaza is the Grand Army of the Republic Monument. For a moment, I thought the bird on that woman's head was part of the statue. This is a temperance fountain. And this is Indiana Avenue along here. It's the old National Bank of Washington. Inside of this unassuming Potbelly sandwich shop is actually the world's oldest elevator. Well, unfortunately it's closed, so I can't see it. But legend is an 1853 Otis elevator, but it's probably more likely a 1870s or 1880s elevator. This building was Clara Barton's Civil War headquarters. She lived and worked here. That was an old department store. And right over here is the International Spy Museum. I'm gonna have lunch at this old school burger joint called Ollie's Trolley. Here, they got an interesting window display. Alright, this restaurant is amazing. It's full of antiques. Looks very old school, and it's in the middle of downtown Washington. There's some old rides that would be in strip malls. There's some weird mannequin head in the car. Leveled Coca-Cola machines. This looks like an old cigar machine. Yeet. That's the Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. I was really hoping to get there, but doesn't look like I'm going to be able to. I'm going to eat at the Hard Rock Cafe. Whenever a city has one, I'll eat at it. They're like rock and roll mini This is my favorite thing here. It's a statue of John Lennon. It's one of my favorite musicians. Even though he's British, Elton John wore this slightly ridiculous stage costume. And this was worn by Beyonce. Guitar from the Grateful Dead. Oh, this is awesome. This is an original animation cell from Yellow Submarine. That's George Harrison. Keith Richards' autograph from the Rolling Stones. John Lee Hooker's signed guitar. This wall was apparently made by Buddy Holly. It's John Lennon's shirt from the 70s. Elvis used that microphone. Mick Jagger's shirt. This is a rock and roll stained glass window with Chuck Berry, the King, and Jerry Lee Lewis. I think that's Jackson at a hotel here in DC. Oh wow, these are original handwritten lyrics for Dirty Diana. The King of Pop, Celine Dion. I'm walking along Embassy Row, Massachusetts Avenue. This guy was the first president of Czechoslovakia. That's the Estonian embassy. The Luxembourg embassy. Togo's embassy is bigger than Turkey's. That's also where Erdogan wanted to arrest protesters. On Embassy Row, most of the embassies are in old converted mansions. I'm on Sheridan Circle with a equestrian statue of General Philip Sheridan. The embassies to the Philippines and China. The embassy to Haiti. The Croatian embassy with a statue of St. Jerome the Priest outside of it. There's the Korean embassy, South Korean. That is the home of President Woodrow Wilson. He was the only president who decided to live in DC after his presidency. Well, technically the Obamas have, and Taft did, but he was Supreme Court Justice. And that was his home. He died in there. The home is a museum. Unfortunately, I just don't have time to go see it. The embassy to Ireland. So embassies are the center of communication between countries for diplomacy. It's also where, like, if you want visas and stuff, you will apply to your country's visa at the embassy in the other countries. So we get a lot of those, so they deal with that. Embassy to Laos. This is one of my favorite things, walking through a city. This is the Phillips collection. It's one of the great private art museums of a super rich guy. For example, they have Renoir's Boat Party painting and a lot of Impressionists, but I don't have time to see this either. The museum was technically America's first modern art-specific museum. Here's a statue of Mahatma Gandhi by the Indian Embassy. He once said, "My life is my message." And what an inspirational message he had. Oh yeah, that's where I'm staying. Pretty nice, except everything's under construction. This is the Anderson House. It was home to Lars Anderson, who was an ambassador, but it's now the home of the Society of the Cincinnati. The society was founded in 1783 by Revolutionary War officers to kind of remember the memory and promote brotherhood among them. Now the descendants of American Revolution veterans are in it, so technically I could join if I wanted to, I think. But they do have a museum in here. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have time to see it, despite my hotel is literally right next door to it. It's a beautiful Indonesian embassy in one of the old mansions. This was the Walsh McLean mansion, and the interior is really awesome. I wish I had a chance to get inside. Right next to the embassy is this monument, kind of showing the culture, the Hindu culture of Indonesia, with one of the gods. I can't really recognize them because there's like an endless amount of them. And this is a little known Easter egg I'm about to tell you. The statue was dedicated in 2013. And this boy is actually supposed to be Barack Obama as a kid. That is the mansion of James G. Blaine. Blaine was one of the top Gilded Age Republicans. He ran for president 3 times. And he was in the Senate and the House and governor of Maine. Like a lot of politicians who have their mansions along Massachusetts Avenue and in Kalorama, he was pretty corrupt. This is Dupont Circle. The font wanted circles and parks all along, and when the city started to get booming, especially this area on Massachusetts Avenue, this was pretty much the highest end place you could get. At the center is a fountain sculpted by Daniel Chester French, the same guy who did Seat of Lincoln. Wow, look at that building. statue of John Witherspoon, who signed the Declaration of Independence.
Way before North Carolina, so we didn't have to put up freaking out.
It's really cool at night. This is Dupont's Circle at night. Alright, so Washington DC, definitely one of my favorite cities. I want to live here. But anyways, thanks for watching. I have other DC videos on like individual attractions, so be sure to check those out. And thanks for watching.